Hey everybody, today I just closed a VA loan assumption, and there's a reason why no one does these, and I'm gonna pretty much walk you through the drama to save you guys the drama. So do me a favor, if you find this helpful, put a like or comment, because I searched this online beforehand and no one told me this stuff. So the first reason why people obviously do a loan assumption is the seller has a lower interest rate. The buyer is going to take over just the loan portion of what that seller owes. So if the seller owes $300,000, the buyer can get the house for the $300,000 with the 2.9 rate. However, the buyer is going to have to pay that $100,000 difference cash at closing, if that's like, you know, the contract price, the list price. First thing is they have to be VA eligible, and then they have to have the cash to make up the difference between the loan and whatever the purchase price is. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you have to use the servicer that the seller is already with. So in this case, it was PennyMac. The good thing is there's no appraisal, which is lovely. So there's no appraisal fee, there's no appraisal done, so that's really nice. We were told it was 90 days, but we actually didn't, I forget what happened. In our case, we did a buyer possession before closing, which is also risky to let the buyer in the house. The buyer paid rent because we didn't know when this would close. And they told us it would be about 90 days. It ended up being, I think about, I'm gonna go with about 60 to 70 days, but it felt like forever. One of the big hiccups was towards the end, that the money that the seller had in escrow, so when you buy a house, you put money into escrow for taxes, insurance, all that good stuff. So that money is sitting there, and we found out a week before closing that that money that my seller had sitting in escrow gets transferred to the buyer because the buyer is taking over the loan, which in theory makes sense, but if you're someone that does a lot of real estate, it's just weird because we always tell our seller, hey, you're gonna get that check back in the mail. So after a lot of arguing and going back and forth, I have you sign this form basically saying it's between the buyer and the seller to work out that escrow money. So that would have been nice to know ahead of time that the seller was gonna be losing that money. So we finally worked that out outside of closing. And the other thing to point out is the buyer was getting a credit from January to May for taxes, but then was also getting the escrow money, which is kind of sort of the same thing. So that was an argument we had to make because the buyer side was like not budging on this, and the seller's like, well, that's my money. So that part was frustrating. But the main thing is every time you ask a question, it takes about 5 days, it feels like, to get an answer. And every time something changes, or we found out this escrow thing, then everything is delayed. So when we finally got the clear to close, we thought we were closing on a Friday. I don't think the money actually was sent and it was finalized till the following Wednesday or Thursday. So again, it's not that normal mindset that we are used to. You know, it closes, it's done. It's kind of she's taken over the loan, and we didn't have to change the CD and change all the dates. So it was just kind of really weird and interesting. I don't know I would ever do one again. If I did, I would definitely make sure you find an attorney that's familiar with VA loan assumptions and really kind of look at all the different angles. So in summary, the VA loan assumption is a fabulous thing to do if you want to have good karma and feel like you're helping somebody with a nice low rate, but just be prepared for the trauma and the drama, and definitely have a backup plan, whether you're doing a buyer possession before closing or somehow you are accounting for the fact that this might take a very long time. So if you have any questions, Amy Rotman on our team, she is a VA specialist and she can definitely help you. And I just wanted to put this out there because I wish someone told me some of this stuff. Thanks, bye.